Mike Lawler is a Republican congressman who won his seat, hotly contested. They spent millions after your seat. Good morning to you. We were speaking with Speaker Johnson last week, and he said he was on the trail with you, and he's like, you see Lawler, he just goes around, he's so good at this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And then he was telling us, he was talking about abortion. And go ahead, he was on with Laura last night, talked about why that issue was not as prominent as some of the other things that people were talking about.
It didn't matter where we are in the country, north, south, east, west, same thing. Everybody fed up about the cost of living, the rising crime rates, the wide open border, and the weakness on the world stage. And we have plans to fix all of that beginning on day one. And President Trump is going to be a transformational president. I think we're entering the most consequential era in a positive way that we've had probably in the modern era.
How do you fit into that after being in one of the most expensive House races we have seen this year?
Well, look, we obviously delivered the majority 2 years ago. Holding my seat is critical in keeping this majority. I think we're going to be able to play a significant role in the House in helping craft legislation and make sure that there is a little bit more of a balanced approach. At the end of the day, Donald Trump won big. He won every swing state. He's going to win the national popular vote. We flipped the Senate. Voters want us to focus on the issues that are impacting their families most acutely, and that is the economy, that is the border, that is the international crises that we're seeing, energy policy. And I think we are going to hit the ground running come January. Those first 100 days are going to be critical on tax policy, on energy, and on the border. And I think we're going to be able to get a lot done. But I think, being in a swing seat like mine that helps determine the majority of the House, we'll be able to have a voice in this process.
I know that tax policy will be a big one, energy another, to try to address the inflation and price issue. On immigration, do you see a legislative effort, if the Republicans keep the House and they have the White House and the Senate, can an immigration bill get done?
We're going to have to. Obviously, we need to secure the border. What Joe Biden and Kamala Harris allowed over the last 3.5+ years, 10.5 million migrants coming into the United States, it's unfathomable. And it has created a crisis in states like New York, where they're spending billions of dollars. So we have to secure the border. We need more border personnel, court personnel. We do need to build border wall. We passed H.R. 2 last year. I believe that will be a framework of any bill. But we do have to address the long-term immigration crisis in this country. We have a shortage of doctors, nurses, home health aides, ag workers, construction workers. We have a population decline long-term. So we need an immigration system that works. As I've said many times, my wife is an immigrant. I've been through this system. It's fundamentally broken. But I do believe we can get immigration done so long as we secure the border.
You take a look at the state of New York. You look at the boroughs around New York City. And he did, double digits better than he did last time around. I don't know what it says about New York, the state, or maybe even the city in which we live. But here's just Jewish voters in New York. Trump was at 37% 4 years ago. He's up at 46% this time. A lot of that has got to do with what's happening in the Middle East and maybe on college campuses here with regard to Gaza.
No question. We saw within the base of the Democratic Party rank anti-Semitism exploding. And I can tell you, in a district like mine that has the largest Jewish population in America, in my congressional district, I won the Jewish vote overwhelmingly. And that is because we focused on the issues. I passed the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which codified President Trump's executive order into law. Chuck Schumer refuses to pass it through the Senate. Democrats failed in their response to the anti-Semitism crisis in America. You have Democrats calling for an arms embargo with Israel. You have Democrats who were not supportive of Israel's right to defend itself. And I think that played out in this election. And you saw the Jewish vote shift. You saw the Latino vote shift. And in a state like New York, where Democrats control everything, and they have created an affordability crisis, a crime crisis, the migrant crisis exploding, billions of dollars of taxpayer money, voters had enough. Donald Trump showed up in the Bronx. He showed up in Manhattan. He showed up on Long Island. Kamala Harris didn't do any of those things. And that's why you see a shift to the right. And we've seen it over successive cycles now, where voters in New York are fed up with one-party Democratic rule here.
I just want to put up these numbers because the Jewish voters in New York, this is from the Fox News voter analysis, Biden won them by 63% in 2020. Harris only won them by 54% in 2024. So there was a dramatic shift here.
Yep. No question. And that's why you see it.
I think you told me, you said a month ago, you said, I've got X amount of Orthodox Jews in my district, and I'm going to win every single one of them.
And we did.
You did?
Yep.
All right. Well, keep in touch because you guys are going to be busy, and a win can be energizing. So
Absolutely, and it's for the country, and we're going to get to work.
Thank you for coming on.
Mike Lawler, great to have you.